has tried to say that there is legislation, and completely bogus legislation, saying that he could demand my ID. And I did call him some very horrible names, and I did get very irate because this is not stop an ID Nazi Germany. We won the war. This is a free.
All right, guys, buckle up, because this audit is about to blow up completely and spiral into something none of us saw coming. What starts off as a fairly calm, almost friendly conversation between this auditor and a sergeant slowly turns into a full-blown clash over rights, privacy, and exactly how far police power should legally go. Things get said here on camera that you genuinely will not believe made it into the final footage, and by the end of this video you'll be questioning who's actually in the right. Stick around, because this one only gets more intense from here.
Follow right? Follow right? Something like that?
No, that's not a word.
What? I don't know. I don't know how to say it. I don't know how, but it is, that's your channel, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Yeah. You found the other one from when I was here. Yeah. Well, that's what I said.
We're wearing the same jeans.
Yeah, same jeans, same jacket. Yeah, this is my only bike here.
Okay, so mess up the landing.
No, it was raining, and the reception was closed.
Fair enough.
So yeah, but
I came out to just have a look.
Yeah.
He wouldn't give.
He did find me. I knew you.
You hung around too long.
Yeah, knew you would. But
We don't want to do with anything with it. I mean,
No,
as
fair enough.
I said, I'll come and talk to you about it.
Yeah.
I was genuinely interested because
Yeah.
I like drones.
yeah, I'll tell you what, I highly recommend it. They are good fun.
Yeah.
But like I said, you do have to know your legislation because you can get yourself into trouble with it. But yeah, I said to the reason I said to that, obviously I was arrested like a few months ago. I'm actually fighting that one in court at the moment.
I remember when your last video came out for here actually, because I think that was quite a positive interaction.
It was, yeah. The inspector, like, he tried to get my ID in there, but he wasn't awful. Really polite PC down there. Didn't have anything bad. I mean, to be honest, Bedford's been a bit of a mixed bag today. Like down Kempston police station.
It's been quite a busy day for us. There's quite a lot going on.
Is it? Yeah. Because they obviously had a woman getting a bit funny. She wanted from the copper, and then the copper came and he was fine. Like when I first got here, those two women were like, they weren't great.
A bit confused.
Then you probably came great. Then I had a PC Irwin, and she was alright, but she was very confused. And she said she'll come and speak to me. As I said, I'll wait for her because she said she wasn't detaining me, so I'm happy to wait.
Once we've had a chance to explain it.
Alright guys, this audit goes south real quick as the sergeant starts realizing exactly who he's actually dealing with here, and you can practically feel the tone in the conversation shift in real time. The auditor casually drops that he's been arrested before, then mentions a previous run-in with police that was surprisingly positive, catching the sergeant slightly off guard and forcing him to reassess the situation on the spot. Meanwhile, the sergeant openly admits it's already been a mixed, chaotic day across the whole station, with multiple incidents and calls piling up long before this particular conversation even started. What begins as light, almost friendly small talk slowly and deliberately shifts into a tense back and forth, with both men carefully sizing each other up, testing tone, testing patience, and quietly reading intent before the real confrontation truly kicks off in the parts that follow.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll get different responses depending on what unit you see.
Yeah.
So for response, everything's changing for us all the time.
Yeah.
So we're quite used to going, you know what, I don't know. Let me go find out and we'll talk to you about it. Depending on how you are, not you specifically, but how people react. It depends on whether we detain you or not, or whether we have the powers to.
Well,
but
exactly.
quite frankly, as we've said to you, there's no point because you're amicable with us, you're talking to us. Yeah. So what's the point? We might as well just go and find out and then come back.
Exactly. I'm happy to have a conversation with you. Like I said to you, that's why I didn't want to give him the details at the time. A, because I just want to stand firm in my rights. But A, I know you can easily find me on the system. But yeah, I was thinking that when I was waiting for the rain to pass to take the drone off, I was like, they're going to be in there looking for that video. They're going to search me through it. And they're going to know who I am.
There's certain ways to find it.
But can I ask you, what was the reason for searching me through the PNC?
Just obviously the suspicious behaviour. We have beat through PNC.
Well, so how did you find me?
So,
YouTube.
Yeah, but how did you find my name from that?
So we have other systems, so we can do intel checks and things like that. So
Okay.
If we think that you are acting suspicious, so we want to just check you are who you say you are. You told us today that you've come here for a legitimate person. Reason, sorry. You know, you've got an interest in police stations, police vehicles.
Sure.
If I do an intel check and then it comes back and there's a lot more serious stuff, you've got
if I got like terrorism, to be fair, it'd be interesting, so I might actually do a start for that.
From what I've seen, it just backs up what you've already told us, so completely satisfied you're here for a legit purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
We have to know who we're talking about, and you're quite right, we have to have a reason to put someone through PNC. we didn't have the reason to put you through PNC, so we've got other systems.
So you've got other systems.
It's more like a soft check, basically.
So to do a soft check, even that, like.
The auditor doesn't hold back for a second, bluntly telling the sergeant, "This is why you don't talk to the police," right to his face, setting an aggressive tone early on. He demands a straight, honest answer on exactly why he was run through a police intelligence check in the first place, refusing to let the sergeant sidestep or dodge the question with vague corporate language. The sergeant is forced to try and justify it using broad, generalized terms like suspicious behavior, but the auditor pushes back immediately and firmly, refusing to accept such a soft, unclear explanation without pressing further. This entire exchange perfectly exposes just how easily the word suspicion can be stretched and misused to justify invasive personal checks on completely ordinary, law-abiding citizens simply going about their day.
So for me personally, because at the time that you went in there to watch the video, I don't think that you suspected me of committing any offences.
No?
No? So for me, I think that is a violation of right to privacy. I think that the police should only be able to even do a soft search that brings up my name because obviously arrests and whatever. I think that you should only be allowed to do that if you have legitimate grounds because you suspect, not just suspicious behaviour, but you have actual suspicion.
What's your concerns though? What are you worried that I would do with your information?
Pardon?
What are you concerned I would do with your information?
No, it's just that thing of violation of rights. That's the only thing it is.
It's more your privacy.
Yeah, and that's all it is, you know.
So I'll flip that.
Yeah.
You said you like a bit of this bit of conversation.
Yeah.
Is this not breaching somebody else's privacy, taking their cars, watching what you're taking from over there, taking all of their details, taking their faces? Because that's all the information we had with it. We've come to have a conversation with you.
Sure.
You've done a check, or say on the previous conversation, somebody's going to look for that person.
Yeah.
That gives them the right to.
But I don't have any systems, and neither does anybody else legally to run number plates to get information. All I can get from a number plate, is it insured, is it MOT? That's all I can get.
You can do a search on Google,
Yeah.
on voters. You can find out who's somewhere within the area. It actually tells you a register of who's in the area.
But you can opt out of that register, the electoral register.
Can.
So again, that onus is on the person to create that privacy,
MOT
isn't it?
Tax.
But yeah, that's all you can see when they run a number plate through the government website is it insured, is it MOT? Is it taxed in MOT?
So then you do freedom of information.
But that won't cover that.
Which only allows you on that specific person.
It wouldn't cover it.
Things heat up fast as the auditor accuses the police outright of breaching his personal privacy through what he repeatedly calls an unjustified soft search carried out without proper cause. He argues passionately and firmly that mere suspicion should never, under any circumstance, be enough to give officers the legal right to run someone's personal details through internal systems, calling it a direct and serious violation of his fundamental rights. He refuses to back down even as the sergeant repeatedly attempts to defend the legality and necessity of the entire process. The auditor keeps circling back to one key, unanswered question throughout, demanding to know exactly where the line is drawn between reasonable suspicion and a genuine, unchecked abuse of police power.
I can request my own information. I can't.
But who's to say that you are you're requesting?
So if I were to do a subject access request for my information, say for example you've recorded me today, if I do a subject access request for that, the police will ask for ID. I've done it before. They need verification that I am who I am requesting the right footage. And I disagree with that. I think that I shouldn't have
at the moment as well, but I suspect who you are.
Yeah.
But I don't know that certain that YouTube channel just happens to be someone that sounds like you.
Could be.
Covers the same places.
But I still think even doing a soft search on that, like with articulable suspicion of a specific offence, I think it is a violation of privacy. Personally, it is something that I will go away and I will probably do a freedom of information request, not a subject access request, to your chief constable about whether or not that is proper use, whether or not you do have the authority to run those checks within the absence of a suspected offence. Because the suspicion isn't a crime. I find lots of things suspicious. You find lots of things suspicious. Obviously, you have more access to more.
And it's more our job to find things suspicious.
Yeah, but finding something suspicious, unless that you suspect a specific offence, I just find it a huge violation of privacy. Personally,
for you and for our feedback, how would you like the police to be able to understand who we're dealing with? Bearing in mind, we don't deal with, like, you're being really nice, you're being really kind to us, talking.
Yeah, I'm not always, trust me. If you go watch on more videos, you'll be rest assured I'm not always. It depends on how it starts.
For our job, for who we deal with and everything like that. How would you like us to deal with?
The conversation shifts into deeper, more technical legal territory as the two dive into exactly how far police powers are legally allowed to extend under current UK law. They cover everything from basic number plate checks to formal subject access requests and the strict, specific rules surrounding identity verification. The auditor methodically and confidently exposes just how limited these official checks are actually supposed to be under existing legislation, catching the sergeant slightly on the back foot at several points. At the same time, he keeps questioning aloud, almost rhetorically, whether officers are quietly and routinely overstepping legal boundaries that most ordinary members of the public don't even realize exist in the first place.
These people that are not in their rights don't need to tell us, but we need to know who we're dealing with, just in case they're either wanted for an offence. We need to know who they are so we can get the relevant medical documents to give them the care, such as if you've been in custody, the medical practitioner, all of that.
But if you've been in custody, you've been arrested, and you're legally obliged to identify at that point. Once you've been remanded in custody by the desk sergeant, you are legally obliged to identify. So at that point, you would know at that point anyway. Before that,
you're thinking of, like yourself, you're following the law.
Again, somebody illegal, there are requirements. If you suspect me of committing an offence to the point where you're going to arrest me, then legally, if it's a lawful arrest, I have to identify.
So today, me doing some checks, checks, that either strengthens or weakens your account of what you told me is going on today. So if I did some checks and it comes back with some completely different stuff, then my suspicion that actually maybe you're here for an ulterior motive, and what you told me is a completely impossible, to go up. But me doing that check actually backs up what you said, and that alleviates any concerns that we've got.
So I go back to my question. How would you like us to operate if we don't have those systems? P&C completely understand, because that is really quite detailed. How are we meant to deal with people? Bearing in mind that we're dealing with people that break the law a lot. How are we meant to operate? If you're saying all about this person is legally obliged, but this person's also nicked something, or this person's also damaged something. They're clearly not going to follow the law. So how would you like us to operate if we can't delve into that information?
Honestly, I think that responsibility is on you guys to...
The sergeant fires back hard with a sharp, pointed question of his own, asking exactly how the public realistically expects police to operate without any access to intelligence checks whatsoever in everyday situations. He carefully lays out the legal obligation to formally identify yourself once arrested, attempting to justify the broader policing system as a necessary whole. Still, the auditor remains completely unmoved and unconvinced by this argument, insisting firmly and repeatedly that basic human rights should never be casually sacrificed simply to make everyday policing more convenient or administratively efficient for officers on the ground.
Figure that out, and I don't think that any citizen in this country should have to give up their rights in order to aid the police.
That's why I'm asking your
opinion. That is my opinion. My opinion is that you shouldn't.
So you're telling us you shouldn't, but you wouldn't be able to give us an alternative.
Today,
I think
you haven't given up any privacy today, have you?
Not willingly.
No.
No.
You haven't had to, have you? Like, I haven't forced anything out of you.
You haven't forced anything out of me. No.
We've had a friendly chat, and off the back of that,
See,
I've done some checks
but because I've had this discourse with you, as soon as you came over, I could have been pig ignorant and just said, fuck off, I don't want to talk to you. But because I've talked to you today, and I've had this discourse with you, and I've said too much, that's given you the information to go search me. You know what I mean? And this is why you don't talk to the police. Don't do what PTTP has done today. And it is, but I'm not that bothered about you guys finding out who I am because,
it is just purely so we can kind of back up your account.
But after I've gone away, you could have found it out anyway when this went up.
What flavour?
Mixed berries at the moment? I don't know. It's actually running out to put it up. But yeah, honestly, this is why you don't talk to the police, and this is why silence is golden when you talk to the police, really, because if I'd come here and said nothing, and you didn't know what my voice sounded like, you didn't know who I was, you didn't know I'd been here before, you didn't know I was here when the fire extinguishers were getting this, all of this stuff, when you've watched the video, you know the sound of my voice, you know I was here in that specific video.
Is that not putting a negative feel out to your viewers?
No.
Why not? Because,
sorry, I didn't mean to upload your face, sorry, that's very rude.
I'm used to it. But when you're dealing with the police, we're not here to cause issues. 9 times out of 10,
A major turning point hits as the auditor openly admits, almost regretfully and with visible frustration, that simply talking to police has already handed them far more information than staying completely silent ever would have. This is why you don't talk to the police, he repeats once again, driving the point home with real conviction and urgency in his voice. He directly warns viewers watching at home that even a calm, seemingly friendly and casual conversation can quietly give officers absolutely everything they need to build a case against someone who is entirely innocent of any wrongdoing.
Talk to us, tell us everything,
Yeah.
tell us who you are.
Yeah.
Not that alleviates the fact that we've got arrested.
So say I was wanted for anything, right? And you've gone and searched me, you found out you now have enough information to know that I am who I am and I'm wanted.
Wanted or not, because I haven't done a PNC check.
Okay.
So,
okay, I don't know. Say my story didn't back up what the search you've done, and your suspicion raised, right?
Okay.
So now you have reasonable suspicion to detain and search me under Section 1, under drone laws, because you think I've committed an offence, or whatever it is, right? I've aided you in your investigation against myself. I've self-incriminated, haven't I?
So you're trying to basically advise your viewers, don't give too much because you don't want them to self-incriminate.
You never self-incriminate. You should never self-incriminate. I'm not here doing anything illegal.
Today, especially what you told us,
yeah.
You haven't got anything to hide, you're here for a legitimate reason, so why would you still hold back information?
Because not always, so you've gone to search me, fine. Not everybody can be so reasonable and...
As in the police?
Yeah, as in the police. And some people will say anything that... The smallest little detail that doesn't match up with what my account of what I've given you when we've spoken, the police will turn that and twist that to look for anything they can to detain, search you and find further.
Is this from personal experience or is this just
Yes, from personal experience, from lots of experience of seeing it happen to other people.
Officer, I would never do that.
No, I'm not saying you would, and I'm not saying every police officer would, but...
You've had experience in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and like I said, I'm suing the Metropolitan Police at the moment for a legal search. And that's, funnily enough, I didn't say anything. Yeah. And they used my silence and my lack of willing to give ID to...
The auditor drops a serious, almost uncomfortable admission at this point, revealing that by speaking so openly and freely throughout the encounter, he may have effectively self-incriminated without even fully realizing it in the moment. He goes on to warn, with real conviction, that police officers can and will twist even the smallest, most minor inconsistency in someone's story to justify further searches, questioning, or outright detention. Drawing directly from his own personal past experiences with law enforcement, he claims that officers don't always act reasonably or fairly the very moment suspicion is first planted in their minds, regardless of the actual circumstances.
Use a Section 43 on me. Right. You're not allowed to just throw around a stop and search power because I refuse to identify. That's not how the law works. You know, standing firm and asserting my rights that cannot be used as a way to heighten your suspicion. A court will not take that. Yeah.
Arresting someone, we obviously have to meet certain criteria.
Of course.
If you are completely honest with us, tell us who you are. 9 times out of 10, we're not going to arrest you because we know who you are. You've come to us, you're speaking to us. There's no reason to arrest you.
But then why should I have to sacrifice my human right of Article 8, the right to a private and home and family life?
I'm not saying you have to, but it can make your life easier. Just if people are open and honest from the outset.
Yeah.
Because then, when people are negative towards police, a lot of the time it does build that suspicion.
Yeah.
For us,
but again, this is what I'm saying. But standing firm in your right to privacy, my right to freedom of expression, which is what I'm doing with the filming, disseminating information.
We're doing that now. And I mean, we're having a conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no... He's got all the gear, I've got already. That's about it.
Yeah.
But you've spoken to us, you've opened it up, you've had a dialogue.
Yeah.
There's nothing there. We're not twisting anything.
No, you're not, and I'm not saying every every officer would, but I'm saying there are those that would. And I don't know you from Adam, you don't know me from Adam. Yeah. I don't know that you were this kind of guy. You're just going to have a chat. We're going to have a civil discourse.
You're just going to see someone walking towards you.
Yeah, exactly. And
so then we flip that onto us.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I said to you earlier, you guys are really building this connect between yourselves and the public right now, and this is what we want. We want this conversation.
So
we want this amicability.
Flip that onto our side.
Yeah.
You said I don't know you, Fred. You don't know me, Fred.
Sure.
We go in situations.
The stakes rise dramatically as the auditor reveals he's currently in the middle of actively suing the Metropolitan Police over an unlawful search that was carried out under Section 43. A search triggered simply because he chose to exercise his legal right to stay silent. He stands completely firm on this point throughout, insisting that his human rights under Article 8 clearly and unambiguously protect his right to personal privacy. According to him, refusing to identify yourself to police should never, under any legal circumstance, be treated as legitimate grounds for suspicion or further action.
situations whereby people have weapons, they really want to hurt people, and they really want to hurt us. Not always, but the majority of that is towards us because we're seen as the conflict side, which
I mean, the statistics support that though.
Do they?
Yeah.
So
from 2000.
You go to a restaurant and have a bad experience. How many people hear about that bad experience?
More than what would hear about a good experience.
So is that not the same concept? You're a psychologist at the end of it. So are you taking one strand or are you taking
no? And this is why I'll upload this. And this is going to be a two-part video because it has been a lengthy one, you know.
Sorry.
But no, you're all good. It's fine. But you know, and that's why. Okay. Yeah. But this is why I'll upload this equally as much as I will upload a bad interaction because it is important to show.
About coming out with us for a ride along.
See, I've said that. People have said that to me before. I wouldn't be allowed to film. I wouldn't be shown. It's like in a research study. If I tell you specifically what I'm researching from the get-go, you're going to be trying to answer the questions that I'm putting to you in a way in accordance with what you think I want you to answer. And it's the same as if I go a ride along. You're going to be acting in a way knowing that you're being observed.
Yes and no. I think what you'll find. So I'm a response officer, so we just do like all the 999 calls.
Okay, yeah.
A lot of that's concerns, domestics.
Yeah.
So the call comes through, we get the details, lead lights go on, and we go straight out to it. If we had a ride along with us, they're literally just there for the ride along. We don't have the time to think about them. Obviously, we think about their safety and whatnot.
Yeah.
But they're coming to whatever job we go to, and they see how we have to deal with it on a day-to-day basis. And I think from a YouTube auditor's perspective, if you actually came out and saw that side of the world from our eyes, it would probably change your views on the police.
No, I grew up on
a deeper, almost philosophical debate erupts between the two over the current state of public trust in the police across the country. The sergeant argues passionately and sincerely that officers genuinely face real, tangible danger every single day out on the job, often far more than the general public tends to realize or acknowledge. Meanwhile, the auditor pushes back hard, directly challenging the actual statistics and evidence used to support that particular claim. The conversation turns genuinely reflective at this point, openly questioning whether one single bad experience simply spreads further, faster, and louder than dozens of positive ones ever realistically could online.
Council estate in rough parts, I see it all from
So you've got a taste of that side of things. I mean, a lot of what I've seen from YouTube videos and things on social media, it's all this pretty bubble where they come to police headquarters, they see police officers that are mainly based in the office, they have those interactions and that's it, but they're not seeing what we're doing as officers going out there dealing with
and I fully appreciate that.
Dangerous people.
Yeah, but then you've got your cop shows that show this, haven't you?
Yes and no, because again, they're all very edited.
Yeah, of course.
They can't really show the truth.
See, that's the thing. That's the beauty of what I do. I really don't edit much. The only thing I
meet now today, have this conversation with you. You've got no idea what I've been to today, what I've seen, what I've dealt with, and then I still have to have this conversation with you. If like some officers, if they've dealt with some horrific things, maybe involving children or death or something like that, they come to a YouTuber who then might come across aggressive or not as nice as you have today. You can see how the conflict you build up.
But then the same way that, you know, when you guys approached, I didn't instantly think, oh, the 5-0, fucking pigs, this, that and the other. And I gave you your due chance to be civil and polite. And you've given me the same, which is why this has got to where it is.
I still think you should consider maybe doing a ride along and just come and see it from else. But if you can't get any concept for it, it'll still be interesting for you as a person to see what we do on the other side.
Potentially.
You will see it from our side because we get a lot of you guys coming in. Some are a lot less for it. But
it depends. Honestly, if the two females that I initially interacted with, if they had stayed and carried on the interaction, this wouldn't be ending the way it's ending now. Like, it would have gone a whole different route, and I wouldn't be being the nice guy that I am now, because they were not okay.
Would you have been that person to escalate it?
I would have been the person to call them out.
The sergeant makes a genuinely compelling and personal case here, suggesting that a proper ride-along experience could completely transform how auditors and the wider public perceive policing from the inside out. He opens up unexpectedly about growing up on a council estate himself, adding real personal weight and credibility to his broader perspective on the issue. He strongly hints that public opinion shaped entirely by short, heavily edited YouTube clips barely scratches the surface of what real, day-to-day frontline police work actually involves behind the scenes.
For what they've done, like demanding ID because they don't know who I am and I'm filming a police station, demanding it, not requesting it, demanding it, I probably would have called them out on that and I would have been very upset about it.
Is there a fine line between you escalating it and you standing your ground?
And there is a fine line between that, and there are times where I have escalated it, and there are times where they've escalated it, and there's times where we've all escalated it. But you guys are trained, especially as a sergeant, you're trained in de-escalation. It's a crucial part of your job.
But you've done your training in psychology as well.
Consumer psychology. I'm not a psychoanalyst. I'm not a therapist.
You knew what Batari's box was.
Yeah.
You know how the mind works. So you're not a stupid lad. You're a very intelligent lad.
Mm.
So if you're saying that it would have escalated, would you have been that person to escalate it, or would it have been a joint thing?
So you weren't there, and we'll see it when you watch it back. But so how it started was, they just stopped. That's what I'm doing. I said, "What do you mean? I'm just taking videos. You can't take videos. You can't do that. Who are you? Have you got your ID on you?" I'm like, "Why would you want my ID?" That's what I said. Why would you want my ID? Because I'm not going to willingly give up my ID. We've been through why. And if somebody then, I've had it before where a PCSO has tried to say that there is legislation, completely bogus legislation, saying that he could demand my ID. Mm-hmm. And I did call him some very horrible names, and I did get very irate because this is not stop an ID Nazi Germany. We won the war. This is a free country. We have our human rights, as much as the Tories are trying to change that at the moment. But we have our rights, and I won't willingly forfeit.
I imagine the PCSO probably took that as a learning curve.
The conversation takes a noticeably fiery, emotional turn as the auditor recalls a past clash with a PCSO who demanded his ID using what he firmly describes as completely bogus and made-up legal grounds. He openly admits to losing his temper in that heated moment, going as far as directly comparing the encounter to Stop and ID Nazi Germany while defending his stance. It's a raw, unfiltered, and genuinely emotional moment in the overall conversation that clearly exposes deep-seated frustration with what he perceives as ongoing, systemic police overreach.
I hope so. I hope so. And I hope that when they see this, and they see how they initially interacted and how that was going, and how you guys came and de-escalated it and where it's got to, I really hope they see the benefit in not going in with that initial bias that they obviously had. I didn't have that bias when you approached me.
No, not at all. No,
I'll give everybody their fair due.
No, I enjoy these conversations as much as you do. That's why I'm asking hard questions.
And I'll tell you what, I love the hard conversations. They are brilliant. But
I just go back to how would you like us to deal with things? Because you're saying that we don't have all of these intels. You don't think that we should have access to them. But then we're going in blind.
Again, if you have suspicion of an offence, then yeah, by all means you should have those systems to be able to utilise them. But just having a suspicion, you could find somebody walking down the street in this gear, in this weather, because I am overdressed for the weather today. It's been fucking hot and I'm sweating my balls off. But you could find that suspicious.
Yeah,
and then you could
the bottom line for us today though, obviously this is a lot more common nowadays, but the bottom line is you are still filming a police station.
Yeah.
And there could be a million reasons for that.
Yeah.
You have given a reason, which is fair enough. All I've done is just check to back up that reason. So you were saying like about us checking people walking down the street. We weren't just checking for no reason. You are at a police station.
But again, it depends on what suspicion is a subjective thing. There's no definition of what's suspicious to a constable. Each constable has their own definition of what's suspicious. If a constable that's not so good as yourselves came along and found something completely ridiculous and inane suspicious, they could easily abuse even a soft search to find out who somebody is, and that can easily be abused by constables.
The sergeant closes out the exchange with one final, direct challenge, plainly asking how police are realistically supposed to operate if suspicion alone simply isn't considered sufficient justification to take action. The auditor stands his ground firmly right to the very end, warning clearly that unchecked soft searches leave the door wide open for serious, ongoing abuse of police power. He points out, as a closing argument, that disciplinary cases against officers are already piling up right across the country as clear, undeniable proof of this exact ongoing problem. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one.